There's a difference between being invisible and being unwanted. The first is silence. The second is humiliation. For 3 years, I confused the two. We moved into this house after the wedding. A modest rental on the east side of Portland. Wood floors that creaked in the wrong seasons. Peeling blue door. My son Liam was 8 then. Hannah's daughter, Brooke, was already 15. At the time, Brooke made it clear we weren't a package deal, we were a compromise. She never said it out loud, not in those first months, but you could feel it. The way she flinched when I asked how school was. The way she'd walk past Liam like he was the neighbor's kid. Not the boy whose cereal she shared. Still, I unpacked her things. Mounted her TV. Set up her desk. Bought blackout curtains when she complained the streetlight kept her awake. She didn't say thank you, but Hannah did. Give her time, she whispered that night. As if her daughter was a ticking bomb that just needed a few soft hands to defuse. Brooke got into streaming soon after. At first it was just for fun. A little webcam perched on a dresser, echoey audio, 15 viewers on a good night. I watched from the hallway. Told her what mic would sound cleaner. She ignored me. Next morning I bought it anyway. Plugged it in while she was at school. She used it without comment, then bragged online that a sponsor had sent it. I didn't correct her. That became the rhythm. She'd mentioned some tech she wanted, better lighting, a faster GPU, dual monitors. I'd buy it. Quietly. Always through Hannah, always indirect. Maybe you can use this for your next stream, I'd say, handing it to her like it was a coincidence. Brooke would glance at it, then toss a dry, cool, over her shoulder. I told myself it was normal. She was a teenager. Not affectionate, not expressive, but not malicious either. That changed fast. Liam adored her. He was young, too young to understand bloodlines and blended families. To him, Brooke was just my new big sister. He left notes outside her door. Knocked when she streamed to bring her snacks. Once he drew a picture of all 4 of us. Me, Hannah, Brooke, and himself with family, scrawled in crayon underneath. She took one look at it and said, "You drew it wrong. I'm not your sister." He didn't cry, just nodded slowly, like he was trying to make sense of something bigger than himself. That night he asked if he could sleep in my bed. "It's just quieter here," he said. I knew it wasn't. I brought it up to Hannah. Gently. I wasn't looking for punishment, just acknowledgement. She said he's not her brother. I told her. He's only 8. He doesn't get it. Hannah sighed, rubbed her temples. She's figuring herself out. It became her go-to line. As if cruelty was identity. As if insults were self-discovery. Still, I endured. Brooke's channel started to grow. Her thumbnails got sharper, her overlays cleaner. I upgraded her webcam again. I subscribed from 5 different burner accounts to boost her metrics. I even reached out to a friend of mine in tech who managed influencer partnerships. Got her into a beta test group for a new audio mixer. She never said thank you. Not once. But that wasn't the worst of it. The worst was watching how Liam began to fold inward. He'd stopped knocking on her door. He wouldn't sit at the kitchen island if she was there. Once, when I asked him why, he said, "She doesn't like hearing me talk." I tried to laugh it off, told him that wasn't true, that she was just older, busier. But even I didn't believe it. He'd started asking if he could go back to his mom's more. That one hit hard. But still, I didn't quit. I organized a trip to the coast last summer. Got a rental right on Cannon Beach. Planned it around Brooke's school schedule. I paid for the whole thing. When we got there, she spent the entire first day inside, live streaming from the Airbnb while we played frisbee in the sand. She said Wi-Fi's good here at least, and shut the door. She barely spoke to Liam the whole trip. I told Hannah we should say something, maybe talk as a family, set some ground rules about how we treat each other. She bit her lip and said, "She's under pressure. Her channel's doing well. Let her be. Let her be." That was always the answer. So I kept paying. I kept giving. I kept being the nobody who filled every empty need. Then came Liam's birthday. He wanted to go to an arcade. Brooke rolled her eyes and said she wasn't coming. Told Hannah, "I don't owe anything to someone who's not my real family." She said it loud enough for Liam to hear. He didn't say a word, just took my hand and asked if we could leave early. That night, after the cake, he asked me, "Why does she hate me?" And I had nothing. No answer. No lie strong enough to patch that. I started noticing the way Brooke looked at me when I walked into a room, like I was some joke she wasn't in on, like she already knew I didn't belong here. And then one night it all cracked open. I was folding laundry, half watching TV. Liam was brushing his teeth. My phone buzzed. A message from someone at work. Just a link. Brooke streaming. "You might want to see this." I clicked. There she was, laughing on camera, hoodie off the shoulder, smirking in that practiced way influencers do when they know the audience will eat it up. She was reading questions from chat. One of them said, "Is your stepdad cool?" She laughed. Didn't even pause. "He's just my mom's phase. Don't take him seriously." Laughed again. Leaned into the mic like it was a punchline. "He's not my dad. So, not his money either, right?" The chat blew up. "Oh well, true. Stepdads are wild FR. Walk-in wallet LMAO." She smiled. Read the comments. Kept going. I just stood there. No one else was in the room. Just me, the clean laundry, and the voice of the girl I had been silently funding for years. My heart didn't break. It froze. I walked into the office, sat down at the desktop I built. The same one I'd upgraded with parts Brooke didn't even realize she benefited from. I opened every account tied to her streaming setup. OBS license deactivated. Elgato login revoked. Streamlabs Premium unsubscribed. Internet access to her room blocked via router. Amazon Prime signed her out. Midstream. The delay was about 7 seconds. I watched her camera twitch. Her face changed. She tapped her mic. "Wait. Why did my hold up?" She clicked something. Froze again. Then the chat started noticing. "Yo, she lagged Jin? Did her cam just cut? Bruh, you are dad cut you off?" She read it. Her face dropped. "Wait, what? Who said that? Who? Why would you?" The panic kicked in. Her hands moved off camera. She started whispering. And I sat there. Still. Silent. Done. I didn't yell. I didn't text Hannah. I didn't explain myself. I just watched her world unravel. One setting at a time. I didn't sleep that night. Not from anger. Not even from hurt. What I felt was colder than both. A kind of numb clarity that comes after you've finally stopped lying to yourself. I sat in the dark with the blue light of my monitor casting shadows across my desk. I didn't touch the keyboard at first. I just looked at the spreadsheet I'd kept for years, the one labeled family_budget_master in all caps, like I needed to convince myself it was under control. Line after line, it stared back at me. Brooke's expenses weren't random. They were methodical, recurring. Every subscription, every invoice, every shipping charge from tech sites she never bothered to thank me for. I kept track, not because I expected repayment, but because I wanted to believe I was building something real, something familial, something that would outlast the silence between us. I clicked the first line, family phone plan, canceled. Then, Adobe subscription, gone. Her laptop's extended warranty, the one I paid extra for when she said her old one was laggy and trash, revoked. Spotify, off. Her cloud backup system, disconnected. One by one, I pulled the threads she'd never seen holding up her world. I disconnected her camera from the home network, disabled the Wi-Fi to her room entirely, set the router to deny her devices by MAC address. I didn't even password change it. I wanted her to see the network, to know it was there, just not for her. The next morning, I boxed up every piece of gear I'd bought. The streaming mic, the mixer, the ring light, her second monitor. I unplugged the tower itself, the very machine she streamed from, and placed it gently in the box like it was glass. I set the box by the door. When Hannah came home that evening, she stared at it like she was seeing a dead animal on the porch. "What? What is all that?" she asked, still holding her keys. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't shift my weight. I looked her in the eye and said, "Everything I paid for." Her face tightened. "You cut her off? Midstream?" She said I'm just a phase, I replied calmly. So I'm acting accordingly. God. Come on. She's 17. She says stupid. She said I'm not her dad. I agree. But I'm also not her sponsor. Hannah dropped her keys in the bowl by the door. She walked past me like she wanted to say more, but nothing came out. She stood in the kitchen, staring at the fridge like it held an answer. But the house was quiet. Brooke wasn't home yet. Liam was asleep. And I wasn't going to fill the silence just to make her feel better. The next day, I changed all the passwords. Our shared Netflix profile gone. Prime Video locked. Amazon account stripped of her delivery address and wishlist items. The delivery card saved under my name deleted. I removed her from the family's calendar system, too. If she wanted to know when we were going somewhere, she'd have to ask directly. That night, she returned. Her face was pale but not scared, just defiant. "What the hell, dude?" she said, standing over the box. "You really just... What is this?" I looked up from my seat at the table. "You stream for 3 years, I said, "and never once mention who bought your gear. That's fine. I didn't need credit. But the second someone asks about me, you call me a phase? You mock my money? And you think nothing changes?" She blinked. "It was a joke." "No, it was a statement. And I heard you." She folded her arms. "So what, you're punishing me?" "I'm correcting an error. One I made." She scoffed. Looked to Hannah, who stood behind her in the hallway. "Are you just gonna let him do this?" And Hannah, to her credit, said nothing. Her lips pressed tight. Her eyes avoided mine. I stood, walked over to the box and handed Brooke her phone, the one I had bought when hers cracked. I had already factory reset it. She stared at it like I'd handed her a weapon. "You reset it? It's yours now. Fully. No cloud sync. No shared plan. No data from my account. You're off the network." "This is messed up," she muttered. "No," I said. "This is clean." The next evening, Randy called. That was the part one hadn't expected. "Hey," he said, casual like we were old friends. "Brooke told me what happened." I didn't answer. "She says you cut her off? Took her stuff?" "She's your daughter," I replied. "You want her to stream again? Buy her a new rig. Shouldn't be hard. You're the real dad, right?" He was quiet for a beat. "Man, this is between you and Hannah." "No," I said. "It's between me and the child who spit in my face while standing on a platform I paid for. She's upset. So am I. But I'm not your problem. She is." He exhaled like I'd burdened him. Like I'd transferred some cosmic weight he didn't ask for. "You're making it really hard to co-parent. You know that?" "Co-parent." I almost laughed. "You mailed her a birthday card last year. That's it. I've been the constant in her life. Until now." Silence. Then I said it. "Come get the gear you didn't buy. The sitting by the door." Click. End of call. That weekend, I took Liam out for pizza. Just us. I didn't tell Hannah where we were going. I didn't invite Brooke. I didn't feel guilty. He smiled more than he had in weeks. Laughed when he spilled soda on his shirt. And when I reached for the bill, he said, "Thanks, Dad." Just that. 2 words. But they undid something heavy inside me. When we got home, the box was still by the door. Untouched. Unclaimed. Unwanted. The house felt different. Not louder. Not quieter. Just heavier. Like every wall was holding its breath. Took 2 full days before Brooke noticed how far the disconnect went. The little things broke her first. No access to our Apple account meant her music disappeared. Her playlists, her downloads, even the podcasts she listened to while editing gone. The YouTube Premium? Mine. Her phone started playing ads. She hated that. She mentioned it to Hannah like it was a glitch. By the end of the week, she'd figured out it wasn't. "Why can't I get into my editing software?" she asked from the top of the stairs. I didn't look up from my laptop. "Because it's mine," I said. "And you said I'm not part of your life." She didn't reply, just walked off. But that was the moment I knew something had changed. Before, Brooke would have screamed, slammed a door, accused me of being dramatic or controlling. But now she just went silent. Not the kind of silence that says, "I'm done with you." This was different. It was the sound of someone losing control over a world they didn't realize they didn't own. The next day, Hannah and I finally talked. It wasn't a fight. No shouting. No blame. Just coffee in the kitchen and a long, exhausted sigh between us. "She's not talking to me," Hannah said. "She hasn't talked to me in 3 years," I replied. "She says you humiliated her." I nodded. "Good. Maybe she'll remember it next time someone asks who built her life." Hannah looked at me like she didn't recognize the man across from her. Maybe she didn't. She's 17. She's 17 and cruel. She's hurting. So am I. For a moment her eyes softened. "I never asked you to be her father," she said. "I just wanted peace." And there it was. The line. The truth tucked behind 3 years of compromises. Peace. Not partnership. Not family. Peace. Meaning? Quiet. Meaning? Put your head down and endure. Meaning? Take the hits and don't make noise. I stood, poured the rest of my coffee down the drain, turned back to her and said it as clearly as I could. "I'm not asking her to love me, but if she lives in this house, she will respect it. And she will respect me. And if she doesn't?" I shrugged. "Then she doesn't live here." Hannah's eyes widened, not with anger, but with something close to fear, because she knew I meant it. Later that evening, she made the call. I heard it through the door. "Randy," she said, her voice steady. "If Brooke wants to come back, she needs to apologize. Not just to me, to him." I didn't ask what Randy said in return. I didn't care. That man had coasted long enough on charm and absence. A week passed. Brooke stayed at a friend's. Or maybe with Randy. I didn't ask. Hannah didn't volunteer. The house was still. Liam played without flinching. He didn't ask where she went. I caught myself smiling once. Not out of satisfaction. Out of relief. Then one night, just after dinner, the front door opened. She didn't knock. She just walked in. Slowly. Like she wasn't sure if she was welcome. Her hoodie was oversized, sleeves covering her hands. No makeup. No camera-ready grin. She stood there in the hallway for a moment, like someone waiting for a verdict. Then she spoke. Quiet. Controlled. Almost rehearsed. "I wrote something." She held out a folded piece of paper. I didn't take it. Just looked at her. She stepped forward, placed it on the dining table and stepped back. "I didn't mean it the way it sounded," she said. "I was being stupid. I thought it was funny. I didn't think about everything." Still, I didn't speak. She motioned toward the note. "It says more. It's not long." I didn't want to send it online or anything. I wanted to, show up. I finally picked it up, unfolded it. Handwritten, slanted letters. A few scratched out lines. "Sorry about the stream. It was stupid. I didn't realize how much falls apart without you. Not just tech stuff. The other stuff. I don't know what it means to be a family, but I think you've been trying. I haven't. I'm sorry." Simple, but not performative. Not written for a camera. I looked at her. She looked at the floor. Then I reached into a drawer and pulled out a piece of paper. A printed list. I slid it across the table. "What's this?" she asked. "Conditions," I said. "For coming back." She blinked. "Read it." 1. Speak respectfully in this house. No exceptions. 2. If you're asked something, respond. Don't pretend people don't exist. 3. Liam is your brother. You don't have to like him, but you will not hurt him. 4. You clean your own mess. You make your own schedule. You live like you're part of something. 5. No streaming until these are followed for 30 days straight. After that, I'll consider it. She looked up. "You're serious?" "As serious as the night you erased me on camera." She swallowed. Nodded. "I'll try." I nodded back. "Trying isn't enough. You'll show it." The next week was slow. No miracles. No Hallmark turnarounds. But she greeted us when she came downstairs. She started taking her dishes to the sink. She cleaned her room, vacuumed the hallway. No one asked her to. Liam stayed cautious. He didn't trust her smile. Neither did I. But he sat at the table when she was there. He even showed her his science project. She didn't mock him. She asked about it. After 20 minutes, she said, "That's cool," and walked away. For her, that was progress. A month passed. 32 days, actually. She kept her word. And so did I. I walked into her room with a box. Inside, her old gear. The parts one hadn't sold. "Why now?" she asked. "Because I watched you change," I said. "Not because you said you would, but because you did." That night, she streamed for the first time since the shutdown. Only 30 viewers. I didn't watch it live, but Liam did. He came into my office after and said, "She talked about you." "What do you mean?" "She told them you helped her, that you didn't have to, and that maybe family isn't about, like, DNA. I didn't say anything, just stared at the wall for a moment, then asked if he wanted to watch a movie. He said yes. We watched The Iron Giant. He cried at the end. So did I. But not for the same reason. 6 months. That's how long it's been since the shutdown. Since the night I closed the door on Brooke's stream and, in many ways, on the version of myself that had kept this house stitched together in silence. I don't measure the time in weeks or calendar squares. I measure it in behavior. She doesn't slam doors anymore. She doesn't pretend I'm furniture. She doesn't roll her eyes when Liam walks into a room. It's not perfect. She's 17. She still forgets to do the dishes, still gets short when she's tired, still hides behind sarcasm when something's too emotional to touch directly. But the malice is gone, and I'll take that trade. Hannah asked me the other day if I was proud of her. Of Brooke. I didn't answer at first. Pride isn't what I feel. Not yet. Pride comes after trust. And trust takes longer to rebuild than it does to break. What I feel now is respect. Not the kind you demand or beg for or wrap in passive aggression, but the kind that's earned quietly, one action at a time. I see it in how Brooke helps Liam with math homework even when she thinks I'm not looking. I see it when she catches herself about to say something cruel and stops. I see it when she thanks me, not performatively, not in front of others, but quietly, like she finally knows the weight of those words. A few weeks ago, I heard her on the phone with a friend. I was walking past the stairs. She was in her room, door cracked just an inch. I hadn't meant to listen, but then she said it. "He's not my real dad, but when everything was falling apart, he was the only one holding it together. He deserves more than I gave him." I stopped, just for a second. I didn't go in, didn't say anything, just kept walking. Because the truth is, I didn't need the apology anymore. What I needed was exactly what she gave, recognition. Not in words, in behavior, in choice, in who she became when no one was watching. There was a moment, about a month after everything shifted, when Brooke knocked on my office door. Just once. Not a soft tap. Not a demand. Just a simple knock, like someone trying to respect a boundary. "Can I ask something?" she said. I nodded. She stood in the doorway like she didn't trust the floor yet. "I want to upgrade my mic," she said. "Not right now, but eventually." I didn't answer. She hesitated, then added, "I'll save up. I'm just saying, when I do, would you help me install it? Not buy it. Just like help set it up?" I nodded again. And that was it. She didn't expect anything more. She didn't test the limits. She didn't ask for the old system back. She accepted the terms. She walked away. I watched her go. Not because I was proud, but because I finally saw the shape of someone learning. She used to think family was a performance, a title, a stage you step onto and own with your voice. But now she knows family is obligation without transaction. It's not the man who shows up on Christmas. It's not the one who drops off new headphones twice a year and disappears before dinner. It's the one who stays, even when staying feels like being erased. Liam asks about Brooke sometimes. Not in fear, not in confusion, just simple curiosity. "Do you think she likes having us now?" He asked one night while we played cards at the dining table. Us? I asked. You and me, he said. Before, she didn't really want us. I didn't know how to answer that. Not in the way a child would understand. So I said, she didn't know what she had. Now she's learning. He nodded. Like that made sense. Like people being better was a thing you could measure in progress bars, not just time. Then he laid down a full house. Beat me. Again. I let him win, of course. Or maybe I didn't. He's getting sharper. Smarter. Quieter, too. Not because he's afraid, but because he's watching. Learning what love looks like when it hurts, and what respect costs when you let it slip. Hannah came to me last week with a brochure. College tours, she said. Brooke's got a list. She's taking it seriously now. I nodded. Good. She wants to go into media production. Video. Audio. Maybe something with post. Fitting. She's using her own money. That one made me pause. She got a job at a cafe downtown. Says she wants to pay her way for the first time. I raised an eyebrow. And she told you that? No, Hannah said. She told Liam. And that was all I needed to hear. She wasn't trying to win points. She was living differently. This morning, Brooke left early for work. Her backpack was heavy with books, and I noticed she added a small notepad to the side pocket. That's new. She's journaling. Probably not for anyone but herself. Before she left, she stopped by the kitchen. I was pouring coffee. Liam was eating cereal. She looked at both of us. Hey, she said. We looked up. Thanks. We didn't ask for what. We didn't need to. She left before we could reply. Now I sit here, writing this, wondering if I should have reached this point sooner. If I should have pulled the plug the first time she rolled her eyes at Liam. If I should have cut off the tech the first time she mocked me behind a locked door. If I should have told Hannah, plainly and early, I will not be invisible. But maybe this was the only way it could unfold. Maybe you have to let things break before they're real. I wasn't trying to be her father. I still don't call myself that. But I was the man who stayed. The man who paid. The man who picked up the slack every time Randy forgot what responsibility looked like. And now, after everything, after silence, after sarcasm, after streams and shutdowns and quiet apologies, now she sees me, not as a phase, not as a sponsor, as a man who didn't leave, even when leaving would have been easier. And that's enough, because respect isn't a birthright. It's not ink on a certificate. It's not blood. It's behavior. It's what you do when you think no one's watching. It's what you build after you've burned every bridge and someone still leaves a light on. It's not saying dad on camera. It's saying thank you when no one's around to hear it. So now I ask you, whoever's reading this, whoever's been in a house where the silence swallows you whole, was I wrong to draw the line? To say, if I'm not your family, then stop spending my love like it's free? Would you have endured it? Would you have kept paying, kept smiling, kept showing up just to be erased in return? Or would you have done what I did? Closed the stream, pulled the plug, and waited, not for affection, not for gratitude, but for behavior? Because in the end, that's all we really are to each other. Not titles, not roles, just patterns. And when those patterns change, maybe, just maybe, a family can be rebuilt. Not by blood, but by choice.